It is time now to go inside out and welcome in SNY NBA insider Ian Begley. So, Ian, how does this current six-game winning streak impact the Knicks' approach at the trade deadline?
I don't think it does. I think it's more about what teams are willing to make deals for rather than what the Knicks' approach is, because I think nothing has changed here in terms of what we've been talking about the last couple of days. Knicks would like to be in on Giannis Antetokounmpo. They are seen as on the outside looking in based on where the board is. And Jose Alvarado continues to be a target. I think they'll look at backup guards. I think they'll look at bigs, maybe an Yves Missy from New Orleans, and they're going to look to move Gershon Yabusele. And Yabusele, player option for next year, not the easiest contract to move, but I think that's where it sits. I don't think much has changed with this six-game winning streak. I think it's Giannis, and then it's figuring out the rest of it.
All right, Ian, we'll get back to Giannis in a moment, but you had a column Monday for SNY.TV on the Knicks' improved defense. Has the biggest change been strategy or effort?
You know, the guys and Mike Brown were talking about some strategic adjustments there, and they referenced, you know, the defensive coordinator, Brendan O'Connor, assistant coach Darren Erman, OG Anunoby particularly, shouted out those two as making these adjustments. One is sending the ball to the side as opposed to funneling it to the middle. That's been something new. Perimeter defense, Mike Brown talking about how the perimeter defender on ball now knows where the help is coming from, and so that makes that player's job easier. So small changes, and they've led to a big difference in the defense. Obviously, the Knicks haven't played the best offenses in the NBA in this stretch, but you have to give them credit. The adjustments were made, and you're seeing the fruits of those adjustments right now.
All right, Ian, as you mentioned on Giannis and the Giannis sweepstakes, the Knicks are on the outside looking in. So what's the buzz around the NBA as to where he might end up as we get closer to Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, I think you're looking at a situation where it's still Golden State, it's still Minnesota, it's Miami, and the Knicks wanting to be in there. But I think they're limited resources here. I think that's going to be the issue for New York unless something drastically changes. They're not going to have the resources that Milwaukee is going to want. Interesting thing with Minnesota, they could put together a pretty good package, and I think what this might come down to is the team that can trade with Portland to get some first-round picks over to Milwaukee, because Portland owns those picks from Milwaukee. So many moving parts, though, Eamon. It's funny, I was hearing today that one of the players that could potentially be in a Giannis deal has been informing people he wouldn't re-sign in Milwaukee. So just tells you that the moving parts, the layers to this thing, it's complex. And, you know, you're looking at Giannis, you're looking at Memphis, Jaren Jackson, John Morant, what's going to happen there. So still plenty to be determined between now and Thursday afternoon.
And you're the guy to keep us updated. And Ian will have more trade deadline reporting on the Putback Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on SNY's YouTube channel. Ian, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night. Now welcome in Sal Licata. And Sal, I know on Sunday you pointed out that it's a long NBA season and we shouldn't overreact to the six-game winning streak. So what's your outlook on this Knicks club and where it needs to improve before the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, still very good. We could criticize the nitpick, but we're talking about championship level, which is far greater than anything that we've seen over the better part of the last 2 decades. So I still think the outlook is promising. I think the key is consistency. We could talk about it, Eamon, as we have the six-game winning streak and the defense and all those different things. Can they do that consistently? Karl Anthony Towns, all-star. Okay, great. Can he perform at a high level consistently throughout the postseason? That's what we're judging this team on, not in the regular season here. So I think a weak spot is the head coach. Obviously, that's not going to change for the better. I wish they had Tom Thibodeau. I'd feel better about their chances being a championship team. The pieces are there. I just ultimately don't think they're good enough because I don't think they could do it consistently enough. But that would be the one thing for me that would be lacking: consistency.
All right, Sal, you just heard what Ian had to say about the latest on the Giannis sweepstakes. So I guess, are you not getting your hopes up that the Knicks will be his next team?
I still think Giannis wants to be a Knick. So if Ian's giving you the practical side of things. Well, the Knicks don't have the best package to get him from Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to want more of a package. Well, if Giannis can't have his say, and we've seen this before, guys force their way, I think it's going to be the Knicks. Now, if he doesn't get traded to the Knicks now, could they get him in the offseason? Sure. And the reports this morning were that the Knicks feel comfortable about their team, which I understand to a certain extent. I would be looking to move on from Karl Anthony Towns as soon as I possibly can. If there's a way the Knicks to get Giannis and move on from Cat, that's something they should do. But I don't feel great and confident that it's going to happen ahead of Thursday's deadline.